Well, it's been 24 hours of rapid and devastating developments in Ukraine. We know at least 26 people have lost their lives. Paratroopers are being sent into Kiev, and the European Union says it will take measures against those responsible for the violence. But who that is depends on who you ask. The government blames the protesters blame the government. Now, let me first of all bring you some breaking news on this story. We can pull it up here through the outside source screen. This has come in from BBC Monitoring. It is quoting the website of the Ukrainian President Viktor Yanukovych, saying he has just dismissed his chief of army, Volodymyr Zymanna. So that's on the Ukrainian president's website, saying his chief of army, Volodymyr Zymanna, has been fired. We'll get you more information on that as we can. Now let's pull up the outside source quad. This allows us to show you all the feeds coming into the BBC newsroom, not just on this story but on lots of others. First of all, this is the Reuters feed from Independence Square. As you can see, that's just gone away. We'll put that down and wait to see if they give us more on that. Box 2 here, OS2. This is from APTN, and you can see this is showing Independence Square. The fires are still burning. You can see here on the Reuters news feed, it's not giving us a feed from Kiev, but it is saying it's expecting pictures of Chancellor Merkel. I was going to mention Francois Hollande. There he is. They're filing pictures on what he's had to say on the situation. We'll listen across that, and as we listen to it, we'll pull out the best bits to show you. In the meantime, let's go live to Kiev, because the BBC's Duncan Crawford is here with us for Outside Source. I can see explosions in the background, Duncan. What's happening?
Yeah, I've just heard a few explosions and bangs. There are some fireworks which are being fired behind me. We have seen these sporadic clashes breaking out over the course of the day between the protesters and the riot police. Independence Square, of course, has been the focal point for these protests, which have been largely peaceful for the last 3 months, but it has now turned into a battle zone itself. It is cut in half. There are a line of burning barricades in the middle of it. On one side you have the riot police, on the other you have the protesters. It has, in the last few hours, been relatively calm. Indeed, you might be able to hear the music behind me. There is someone performing on stage, singing some songs, playing his guitar, but obviously the potential for violence is still very much there.
Now, of course, this story isn't just playing out on the streets of Kiev, it's playing out on social media too. Let's just have a look at some of the most important tweets of the day. I've worked out three different categories to show you here. First of all, people who have been contacting the BBC from Kiev. This is Victor saying, "We need help here. It's unbelievable that those whose major duty is to protect people beat them up instead." But that's not just the only story we're seeing. This from Cal. "The police have shown remarkable bravery since being confronted by extremists," he said. Now, if I pull across what BBC correspondents are saying, because we have a number of correspondents in Kiev, Steve Rosenberg, Daniel Sanford, Duncan himself, as well as producers as well who are tweeting on this. Let me just pull up this. This is Kevin Bishop, our Moscow bureau chief, saying a water hose being used on protesters from the top of a shopping centre. And one other thing to show you, lots of politicians are using social media to communicate their reaction. This is Jose Manuel Barroso of the European Union. He's talking about his utter dismay, and perhaps this is most important. We expect targeted measures, but the point is, what will those targeted measures be? We will find out in due course, I'm sure.